beautiful dreams. Hello beautiful dreamers, it is me, me, and welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how I make these mocha macarons with a Swiss meringue buttercream filling. I've been trying to make lots of macarons during quarantine, so I wanted to compile my knowledge in this video, and I've linked some videos that helped me down below. Just to let you know, the macaron recipe is enough for 15 large cookies, and the buttercream is enough for 2 batches of macarons, so if you want to use up all the buttercream in one go, just double the macaron recipe. Now, let's get to our Swiss meringue buttercream. So you're going to need 2 egg whites at room temperature, 125 grams of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of instant coffee or espresso powder, 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, 30 grams of chocolate chips. I use dark chocolate chips, but any kind is fine, and 162 grams or a stick and a half of butter. Next, we're going to do a double boil method. Get a pot and fill it up with a little bit of water and put your mixing bowl on top. Make sure the bottom of your mixing bowl does not touch the water. Now, turn your heat to a medium and then add in your egg whites and your sugar. Mix it until the sugar isn't grainy and has dissolved completely. You can test it if it's still grainy by rubbing the mixture between your fingers, and if so, then keep mixing until it's not. Once the sugar is all dissolved, I put my mixing bowl into my KitchenAid and get an ice pack and squeeze it in between the bowl and the mixer. This will help it cool down a little faster. Beat it on medium or high until you get stiff peaks. The meringue will hold its shape and turn white and glossy and fluffy and beautiful. Now you're going to add your room temperature butter in thirds, one by one. Make sure they are well combined before adding the next third. After adding all your butter, if your mixture looks like this, kind of bally and grainy, don't worry, just keep beating it. In the bowl, it'll look like your meringue is kind of shrinking, like it's sticking to itself, and that's when you know it is ready. Oh my gosh, isn't it so satisfying? Oh, it's so smooth and fluffy. Add in your cocoa and coffee powder mixture and then mix on low before increasing your speed. You don't want a cloud of powder in your face. Take your chocolate chips and at the snap of a finger, it'll be melted. Just joking. Just put it in the microwave and melt it at 10 to 20 second bursts. And now, what we've all been waiting for, the chocolate drip. Ah, chocolate. After you watched that beautiful pour, you're going to scrape the rest of the chocolate into the bowl and mix until well combined, and then now you have finished your Mocha Swiss meringue buttercream. We're going to put it into our piping bag next. I'm using this star tip. You can use any star tip you would like. You're just going to put it all into one bag. It's hard with just one hand while I was filming. And now we're ready. So you can actually put this in the fridge in a Ziploc bag and save it for later. I'm going to use half and then save the rest for later. Finally, we can start making our macarons. I was definitely intimidated at first, but after watching tutorials and tips on YouTube, I found out that to make great macarons, you need room temperature egg whites, just the right mixing, just the right oven temperature. All hell can break loose in the oven. And lastly, patience. You probably won't get this on the first try, and that's totally fine. Tweak the recipe and try again. Now, for our macarons, you're going to need 70 grams of sugar, 70 grams or 2 egg whites, 87 grams of almond flour, 2 grams of instant coffee or espresso powder, both of these are optional, 84 grams of powdered sugar, and if you want a darker macaron color, you can use brown gel food coloring or any color gel food coloring of your choice. I like to sift my dry ingredients all together once before I mix with the wet ingredients and once when I'm combining wet and dry. Almond flour tends to be more moist, so it's harder to get through the sifter by itself without the powdered sugar. Mix egg whites until foamy and then slowly incorporate your sugar, little by little, until stiff peaks form. You don't want to add all your sugar in the same time, or else the meringue won't be the right consistency. It takes some patience, but you guys can get through it. An interesting way to find out if you have stiff peaks is to get your mixing bowl, put it over your head and turn it upside down, and the mixture shouldn't even come out. It's crazy. Now it's time to combine your meringue with your dry ingredients. Sifting them a second time allows for your batter to be extra smooth so that your macarons don't crack or break in the oven. You want to reduce all the chances of air bubbles and clumps. You work so hard on them. Now, the technique for mixing your macarons is called folding. You scoop under and then take it around town and then flatten and then repeat. Some YouTubers I watch like to flatten the batter all around the mixing bowl to push out any air bubbles and then scrape them back into the middle. If you are going to use gel food coloring, this would be a good time to do so. You'll know when your batter is at the perfect consistency, when you're able to make a figure eight with your batter, or if it continuously runs from your spatula. Similar to the buttercream, you're going to carefully put your batter into a piping bag with a medium circle tip, and we're going to pipe on our macaron mat. Alternatively, you can print out a macaron stencil from online and put it under a piece of parchment paper. Use some batter under the four corners of the parchment to keep it from moving around while you pipe. Hold at a good distance, squeeze, then release the pressure and make a circle motion to reduce noticeable indents. I didn't tape the next step, but you're going to slam your tray onto the table. Put a hand towel or something underneath so it won't hurt your ears. This releases some of the air bubbles and makes your macarons more uniform in shape. Next, get a toothpick and release and fill in any remaining bubbles. We're going to wait for 4 to 5 minutes to an hour so that our macarons can form a skin. You'll be able to lightly touch the tops of your macarons without breaking. We do this so that when we put them in the oven, the air finds its way out through the bottom rather than the top. The next step is very important, so listen up. Every oven is going to be different and may run hot or cold. Originally, the recipe calls for the oven to be set at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 to 13 minutes. But my oven runs hot, so I had to set it to 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 11 minutes. I recently got a new baking pan, and because it's thicker, I had to put it in for 13 to 15 minutes so the bottoms can cook all the way through. If you are able to find your oven's sweet spot, you're gold. After letting your shells cool down for about 30 minutes or so, it's time to take them off of your sheet. If done correctly, they should come off fairly easily. If the bottoms are still too wet, you can pop them back into the oven. Now, it's time to do some matching. Pair up your shells by size and spread them out so they are ready for your buttercream. The next step is my all-time favorite step. And because I use a star tip, the swirls look so beautiful. I usually pipe out one layer and then a small circle layer on the top for some more height. Now, the final step, place the tops of your macarons on gently. I do recommend putting your macarons in an airtight container in the fridge overnight because they definitely taste better the next day. But I won't judge if you eat one right away. You earned it! Happy baking, and thanks for watching! Oh, you're still here? If you want to follow me on Instagram or other social media platforms, I'll link them all below. I do Instagram lives bi-weekly, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Check the schedule on my Instagram. Please like and subscribe for more videos in the future. May you all have beautiful dreams.